Okay, so you just finished your round of golf and you want to work on your mobility a little bit. Well, I'm going to show you a routine that's going to help you gain some flexibility, but also work a little bit on recovery and cooling down from the session. It's not going to be too intense. It's a little different than, let's say, what you would do before your round of golf. Something before is going to bring the heart rate up a little bit. We're going to work a little bit more on activations and really kind of prep the body for the round of golf. Now we're looking to cool things down a little bit while still picking up some range of motion. So I'm going to show you a little routine you can do. Each exercise is either held or done for 30 seconds. We transition from one to the next until we finish. And you'll notice a lot of the routine starts out on the ground and then we slowly build you up. So the first one we're going to show you here, we're going to use a strap or you can use a belt. We're going to put it through the foot just like that. We're just going to work some ankle circles. We're going to go counterclockwise 20 times and then clockwise 20 times. Okay, that's pretty much the only one that's going to be not within that 30-second time frame. We're going to straighten the knee, as you can see if I angle over here. I'm going to bring the right arm out. I'm going to bring the leg across the body and try to keep the pelvis down. And I'm going to work some circles here. Right now I'm working on stretching the lateral hamstring. You'll feel this deep down into the hip, all the way down into the side of the leg, the lower leg, into the peroneals. Okay, and we switch it up. We would obviously do the ankle circles first, both directions, and then we're going to bring it across, and we're going to work circles this way. Big stretch here for that lateral hamstring. 30 seconds of work, the knee is locked out. We're then going to transition onto our side. Okay, we're going to line the knees up here. We're going to do an open book exercise where we rotate open. Key here, though, is we're going to work on our breathing. We're going to inhale through the nose, try to fill the belly with air, exhale out the mouth. We're going to do that for 30 seconds. Should be about 5 breaths or so. Switch it up, other side. Here we're obviously trying to make sure we keep the lower body still. We're stacking the knees, trying to avoid the hips from sliding back. Deep breaths, 30-second holds. Trying to get a little further with each breath. We're then going to return to our back. We're going to cross our left ankle over our right knee. We're going to keep a little arch to the low back, and we're going to pull into the chest here. We're going to hold this position for about 30 seconds. Here we're working on stretching out some of the rotators of the hip. We've got the left leg in some external rotation. We're going to hold 30 seconds, repeat other side. Okay, after we finish the 30 seconds there, we're going to keep the ankle crossed and we're going to bring it over, keeping the right shoulder down, sole of the foot is flat, and then we're just going to gently push on the knee here, which is going to really work on the TFL, IT band area, on stretching that out. 30-second holds. Engage the abdominals, bring it back to the center, cross over, left arm goes out. Same idea, pushing open for about 30 seconds on each side. We're going to transition up to sitting, and we're going to work into a hurdler stretch, left leg in, right leg out in front. We're going to try to keep the posture upright, chest is up, tailbone is high, and we're just going to gently stretch into that hamstring here. And we can get a little back flexing, that's okay. Most of the stretch is going to be felt underneath the knee. And we're just going to slowly, with each breath, try to get a little bit lower. 30 seconds, transition over to the other side, knee straight, toes straight. With every breath, trying to work in a little bit closer. Both legs are going to come in. We're going to let the knees drop out. Same idea. Here we're trying to stay nice and tall, letting the knees flare out. Some of you people that may have a hard time sitting Indian style, this is going to be a tough one. If that's the case, you can put a yoga block or an AirX pad underneath your butt just to prop you up a little bit. We're going to transition after 30 seconds to hip 90-90. 90 degrees at the knee, 90 degrees at the hip. And we're going to lean forward. And then we're going to back up, just like that, shifting weights. So our weight shifts back, we're going to get a great stretch to the adductors, and again the hip rotators, and then back forward, like so. 30 seconds or so, transition to the other side. Keep that chest up, tailbone high. You may find one side is harder than the other. If you start to feel a pinching in the hip at all, again, you can prop yourself up underneath your butt cheek there, and that will take some of the stress off the joint, put it through the muscles where it should be. We're going to transition here into a child pose. Down here, if we want to take a little bit further, we drop down to the head, arms at our side. We're just going to breathe into that stretch. If that's a little bit uncomfortable, you can keep the hands here. The idea here is that we're just trying to get some flexion into the low back, just to lengthen through there. We're then going to extend the legs out, and we're going to work and do a prone prop position here. So the idea here is chest is up, shoulders are down away from the ears, and we're getting a little length to the low back. If we want to get more mid-back, we drop down, keep the bottom rib down, prop up even a little bit higher. But here the key is we're trying to keep the rib down, we're gluing it to the floor, and then we're lifting it up top. That's going to work a little bit more mid-back there. Okay, we're going to transition to a hip flexor stretch. Coming up on one knee. Give you a side view here. This knee's underneath this hip, both hands on the knee. We're going to tuck the pelvis, drive the hip forward, and get a nice stretch through the quad and the hip flexor on that side. 30 seconds, or again, you can count breaths, 5 breaths maybe. We'll switch to the other side if you want to get a little bit more out of it. We can add a reach and a side bend through there. So as you can see, we're kind of building you up from the ground. We're going to come up to the standing posture here. We're going to work feet together. Arms are going to raise up nice and high. We're going to extend back slightly, and then we're going to roll back down, stretching out through the hammies, low back. Trying to get those knees straight. I want you to articulate one vertebrae at a time coming up. Back up nice and tall, extending. Back down. We can transition back to the floor. We can do a pigeon stretch. Right knee's going to come back up. Or we can fold down and just work on stretching the glute in this position. 30-second hold. Switching sides. The key here is to have the knee centered between both hands. Dropping down on the elbows. And stretching through that glute. And we come back up. So obviously there's a variety of things you can do here. The idea is that we're just looking for holds really, or breaths. Nothing too intense, just getting the body to recover a little bit. We can add some foam rolling into that. A lot of things you can do, but give those a shot. I think that might work.